Statistics show us that most leaders believe they have accountability covered, but in fact, they are sadly mistaken. The common ideal of a culture of accountability can only be realized when you can hold yourself accountable as a leader first. Hi, welcome to the Unstoppable Leader. Whether you are a CEO, founder, executive, or just want to become one, this YouTube channel is the place to get ideas, insights, and the clarity you need to be unstoppable. Grow your influence and your impact each week with one key idea for high impact leadership. If you're ready to grow your influence, subscribe to this channel by clicking the red subscribe button below. Now, let's get into this week's content. Leaders are accountable to themselves first. There are essential principles all leaders need in order to be accountable. You might be accountable to your customers first. I certainly am. But are you also accountable to yourself? Do you regularly let yourself down or fail to live up to the standards you've set for yourself? Well, if you feel like that's the case, you're not alone. We have been taught to make ourselves accountable to others first, not to ourselves. Accountable to our parents, accountable to our teachers, accountable to our communities. And we can drift without accountability to ourselves. This is a frustrating and ineffective way to run a business. There's no one to hold you accountable if you don't do it yourself as a leader, or if you don't have a coach to do that work with you. That's a shameless plug for myself. Regardless, if you are managing others and you find there are gaps in accountability within your organization or even with yourself, then it is necessary to slow down and look at yourself first. Rarely is there a problem that is solved by trying to enforce accountability in others. So accountability, and most of us are probably aware of this, begins with the goal in mind. Leaders who want to improve accountability within their organizations or with themselves align towards a common outcome or goal. Shared objectives, shared goals are the foundation for everything that follows with accountability. So, whether you're managing yourself or a company of hundreds or thousands of employees, if your productivity is floundering, if you're not meeting objectives, the first place to look is at your goals. Ask yourself these questions. Is the goal truly inspiring to me first as a leader? And then also, if you have a team, to my team. If not, then what positive outcome or incentive would make it inspiring? Most goals require a good deal of energy and commitment to accomplish, and positive incentives, such as personal growth, greater freedom, more time, increased income, and additional influence, are all wonderful motivators. How can you make the win worth the effort? Look at your motivation behind your goal. The second question to ask yourself is, what natural obstacles will be encountered? It's very important for yourself and also for your team to really look at the obstacles that are necessarily going to come up with a worthy goal. Life is always providing us wonderful growth opportunities in the form of obstacles and challenges. Great leaders understand this very well and take the time initially to explore what those challenges might be and then develop plans for dealing with them effectively, both for themselves and for their team in advance. So everyone understands not only what's expected to meet the goal, but they feel prepared to get there. If the goal is truly important to you, ask yourself, am I making it a priority in everything that I do? Many leaders will inadvertently give themselves and their teams competing goals. This spreads the work too thin and sabotages the efforts on all fronts. It's a rare organization where employees are bold enough to let leadership know the root cause of an accountability gap is competing goals because they don't want to disappoint. But also self honesty when we are giving ourselves competing goals is crucially important. The next question is when balls get dropped. Notice I didn't say if. When balls get dropped, am I valuing the lessons or am I placing blame? We have all heard the boss who asks, what happened? Who's responsible? And when something goes amiss, that can be a very natural reaction, especially when we're talking to ourselves with our inner critic. Unfortunately, in this landscape of positive psychology that we all are becoming increasingly aware of, that kind of response fosters a culture of avoiding responsibility and placing blame elsewhere. Instead, a culture of accountability asks, what have we learned from this? This is essential to the growth mindset, and it's invaluable for fostering true accountability at every level of the organization. And leaders lead the way, regardless of the size of the organization. The next question I encourage you to ask is, do I provide regular accountability checkpoints? Especially when we're making a big shift in a process or a behavior, either individually or as a team, we can tend to move too fast, skip a vital step, do things inadvertently wrong because it's simply new and it's unfamiliar. An important goal is worth spending some extra time to check in along the way, look back over our plan, and make sure that we're readjusting, realigning, that no steps are missed or mishandled so that we are improving the process as we go. This keeps things moving smoothly and it happens before there's an accountability issue. Next question I encourage you to ask is, do I, as a leader, tend to favor punishment or positive communication? And it's important to be fully honest and also look at how you talk to yourself. The inner dialogue is critical to know which you actually favor. If you or an employee are regularly missing key metrics of success, then deprivation, punishment, criticism are the least likely methods for correcting course. The absolute first action should always be to ensure that expectations, roles, responsibilities, and tasks are 100% clear. The second action is to check on motivation and priorities that we talked about earlier, which ironically also are founded in clear communication. Often self-dishonesty is a root cause if you're running your own business or missing key metrics. Beating yourself up will get you nowhere fast. So in conclusion, certainly there are a wide array of productivity tasks and tools for scheduling and enhancing your processes to be accountable. However, these tools and these tasks are ineffective, no matter how good and effective they are in general. They are ineffective when the goals are unclear or you're out of alignment with other priorities or obstacles are being overlooked or our inner taskmaster is taking over. Leaders like you have a reputation for investing in our personal growth. And so it is vital that we encourage that same culture of learning in order to create a culture of accountability. Thank you, and I will see you next week right here